I am Ethan Smith with Tallgrass TV. I'm here with Ethan Minsker for the film Self-Medicated, a film about art. So just tell us what the film's about.
The film is about, it's an art-centered film, so it's about the concept that most artists make art because they're actually fighting a depression. So you medicate by doing something that makes you happy, and that's art. So it sounds like the film would be depressing. There are parts that are depressing, but the overall thing is that's the subject, but we cover the events that our group did over 2013. So it's visual arts, it's street art, it's gallery art, it's fanzines, it's music. It encompasses all art under this sort of brand and theory of medicating through art.
Okay. And so what role did you have in the production of the film?
Let's see, I was the producer, director, editor, sound man, cinematographer, animator, subject.
Nice, nice.
I mean, one of many subjects. It's not like just like me in a room with a camera going, I'm bright, I make art. It's not like that.
Okay, okay. So how did the film, or how did the idea for the film come about?
Well, it's actually like a series of projects that we do international and national. So Dolls of Lisbon was one we did a few years ago. That was in Portugal, where I made 100 handcrafted dolls and sent them around the world. And then the artists worked on them, brought them to Lisbon, Portugal, and displayed them in a pop-up museum for 2 months. The one before that was in Berlin. This is Berlin, not New York, which you can watch free anytime on our site, intagovision.com. And the one now is the third sort of installment of that. And they're separate movies, so you can watch them completely separately. But it's about, you know, traveling to a new section of the world, working with local artists, and building a bigger brand and bigger community through that.
How did the story change while you were filming? Did it end up pretty well as you had envisioned it originally, or did things take a turn?
I mean, originally I thought, like, our group does fanzines here, you see. This is my kid's book and the fanzines, I put that up there. I've been making a fanzine since 1988, and that was displayed in the new Museum of Art with the contemporary youth art exhibit in the 90s. And through that, I wanted to do a film that was related to how fanzines are connected to the larger art world. So like Printed Matter and a bunch of these like locations in New York. I started doing that with the group of artists in Texas that do this podcast called Old Man Bitter Girl. And I realized, you know, our whole group and everything we do is somewhat connected through the fanzines and our art group. So it changed over time, basically. It's just a completely different film, so yeah.
Okay. So you said filming took place during 2013?
Yeah.
Okay. Did it, so just the entirety of the year? Was it like January to December? Or?
April to November, I believe.
Okay.
So we started in a small town called Victoria, Texas, where they do another film festival called the Victoria Independent Film Festival. And while we were showing the Dolls of Lisbon film there, we met a group of artists in a community there that then we developed into like a larger group or a branch of what we do down there. And then we come back to New York, and then Ecuador, and Chihuahua, Mexico, and a few other places like that.
Okay. So what was your favorite moment during production?
Favorite moment, it would be hard. Oh, okay, well, we paid a group of artists in Ecuador to build these like fireworks sort of displays. And with that, we thought we were just getting a tower and they would, you know, we'd have all these crazy fireworks. With our budget of $200, which I guess was a lot for this guy to do this thing, he made these two kind of like a cow type of things that you wear that shoot fireworks off. So then and it's like a thing in Ecuador where they do this, like it's part of how, like the celebration. So we had basically a big party with bands, and two of our guys ran around with these fireworks just shooting off of them. And in the film, it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know if people get it in the film, but it is like a really climactic moment of us working with the Ecuadorian artists and ourselves. And who doesn't like fireworks? I mean, come on, you're blowing stuff up, and in the film, one of the guys falls. It's fun. It was just a real lot of fun. you know, trying to film that and not getting burned,
I remember.
the guys not getting burned, and you know, when they're putting it on, they literally tell you like, your hair, it should probably cover that. And it's like, oh, right, because there's going to be fire all over the film, you know, so.
Okay. What was the most challenging moment during production?
I mean, with any production, I mean, our films are micro budget. So, you know, the artists who travel to these locations to do it on their own dime. Typically, the local governments give us places to stay and art institutes to work with, but the film itself is, you know, a couple of $1,000. So most things that are expensive are upgrades and equipment and things like that. So it's sort of the typical thing of not having funding and not being able to do the projects, you know, based on not having enough money. And we always seem to be able to scrape by and do it through crowdsourcing and all that. As I would like to add, I have a new crowdsourcing thing called Dwelling Project. You can also see that on our page. I don't know if that's legal to do.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, the next project is about going to Sydney, Australia, where we are building these cities out of recycled material, like miniature cardboard cities, and then the destruction of those cities. So for me as a New Yorker, this might sound a little depressing, but you always felt safe in these large buildings. You're like, these buildings are pervious. You know, unless there's fire, you are safe in them. And then September 11th happens and you watch two of these, the biggest buildings in the city collapse. And then your whole sort of thing of safety in your home is obliterated. You know what I mean? It's like any time one of these buildings could collapse and you could be in it. And as a kid, I would watch these Godzilla films and be like, yeah, destroy another city, destroy, destroy, and love it. And then after September 11th, I watched one and was like, I couldn't stop thinking about everybody being killed in those buildings.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of our group, our guys are bartenders, so we had friends who died in the buildings, and a lot of our clients died, so, you know, firemen who would come in dead, so it really does affect you in a more profound way. So the art project is about not just New York, but everywhere around the world, there are things happening. So the Ecuadorians have earthquakes, and the Sydney, Australia had a large fire surrounding the city. So anywhere you are in the world, people lose their homes. So the art project's about that.
Okay, so you discussed a little bit as far as what's next for you guys, but what's next for the film, Self-Medicated?
I have no clue. We just, during the, it's been in 5 festivals. During this, it played in the Santa Fe Independent Film Festival as well. And I'm submitting to more festivals currently. So I'm waiting for a whole chunk of rejection letters and then maybe getting into 1 or 2 more. I mean, we also do screenings, so we just screened it at Bennington College, and we'll probably pick up a few more screenings, but yeah, I have no clue at all, to be honest.
Okay, good. So how have you enjoyed the Tallgrass Film Festival?
I've had a really good time. I mean, I've been to a variety, like with the other films, and this is like my 8th feature film. So I've been to plenty of festivals, and the one thing that, and I've talked to like a lot of people in the staff, like everybody across the board here, you know, and what I found here is that you have people who've been volunteering here since the beginning. That is rare for film festivals. It is almost unheard of, you know. So Tribeca Film Festival, that you know is so big, pretty much always it's like, I've been here 1 year, and it's one and done. So it's amazing to see that people here are so committed to it. And not only, I mean, obviously you guys are having a good time, because you wouldn't come back to do it again. So yeah, I've been really impressed with that. It shows that there's a real love and community here for that. And then my screenings, like a lot of people were actually paying attention and, you know, stuff. So that's great as a filmmaker to have an audience that's willing to put up with the, you know, whatever your film is, like there's an audience here for it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Was there anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to cover?
I guess, you know, we have a fan page for the film, Self-Medicated, a movie on Facebook, and there's an IMDb page for that if people want to know more about the film. If they want to know more about our group, the Antagonist Art Movement, they can go to antagovision.com, and there's plenty of links that feed off to there, and you can see one of our films on there for free and a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot of free content there.
Excellent. All right. Ethan, thank you very much.
Thank you.